Hey, I'm Lynx and I'm an Immortal 3 player who's very familiar with ranked as well as scrimming. And today I'm going to give you some tips to help you get out of your elo, whether you're bronze, gold, diamond or literally any rank and you want to improve or climb to a high rank or even eventually get to Immortal, then this video is for you. I'm going to be splitting this video into 5 different sections on what I feel like is the most important for you to learn and work on, that being game sense, aim, teamwork, util usage and mental, which I'll have timestamps so you can easily find each segment through the video. And also, if I don't mention something super specific to you and you have a question, then feel free to comment below. I'll try to respond to every message if I can, and if not, you can always write me a message on my Twitter, which will be in my bio too. Also, another thing I'd just like to mention, for this video I am going off a script and I'm not very good at scripts at all. Normally my normal videos I don't go off a script and I just do it as I go along. But for this one I am, as there's a lot of things I had to write down or had to remember. So if you do hear me stutter or there's awkward cuts in the video, then I'm sorry, I do apologise, but I am really bad at following scripts and I'm just trying to get better at this anyway. So hopefully I warm up to it over time because I want to make more videos like this. I love helping you guys improve, but hopefully I do get better. Starting off with Gamesense. Gamesense is just something that comes with time playing, and honestly you're only going to get better at Gamesense through trial and error, which is honestly just the best way to learn anything. Though a really good way you could boost how quickly you learn good Gamesense, whether that's just understanding why an agent is a good pick, what a good execution strat is for taking a site, or just learning and understanding rotations and simple fundamentals, is by watching streamers. When looking for a streamer to watch, I generally recommend you watch someone who plays your agent. Back when I was in Diamond, I used to watch a lot of Loud Sassy. I'd go on YouTube and search up for one of his VODs, or I'd even go on Twitch and look at his past VODs when he used to stream. And you just have to watch the gameplay, you analyze how they're using the util, how it's taking space, is how they're using util effective? Are they getting value out of it? Are they helping a teammate entry, for instance? I'd watch Sassy because I myself love playing Initiator. I'm an Initiator main, and if you want any tips or lineups, comment down below what Initiator you'd like me to do in a video. I make a bunch of Initiator videos. I show you tips and lineups, and it's just really good for learning as well, I'd say. So definitely check that out if you're an Initiator main. But even if you're a duelist player, go watch someone like Jorgam or Demon 1. Watch how they entry, how do they path, how are they looking when they're entering, where are they trying to path to, and how are they playing off their teammates' util. Same if you're a sentinel, what setups are they using, how are they positioning on site to play off this util or to play with teammates. You do have to keep an eye out for it, and you have to kind of be self-aware on what you're looking out for. But I'd say generally just keep an eye out on how they're using util and their positioning. There's two really good things that you can learn. When are they rotating? What are they rotating off? Is it off a push? Is it off a teammate dying? They're using util to re-clear, take space, or help a teammate, things like that. And it will, watching it will help you transfer it in game, and then it will just make you a lot better player. Okay, so just a quick example of learning setups and good positioning when playing sentinels. Is what you could do is you could learn simple one-way cages like this, or just any trip setups. I'm not actually a sentinel player, so I'm just kind of chucking random trips and hoping they're alright. So don't take my advice, but definitely look at your favorite streamer or someone who plays this agent. But for an example, why is this setup good? For one, I can play back here and I can use this cage to see their feet and spam off it. And also if my trips get hit, then I can also spam off this little back wooden box here. And if I really need to cross out to get to a safer location, I can pop this cage and run out. So that's one, I'm playing off the setup really well. It's a good setup, I'm playing off it well, and I'm positioning well to use it. Whereas if I positioned over here, then I'm losing out on playing off these trips, and also because of this trip here, they could possibly cross out. But let's say I don't want to do this setup. How could I spread my setup out to get more info? Well, one, I could trip here, I could have full B main info. If they break it, then I know they're there. If they don't, then we know they're not going to push B. Or I could also trip mid early as well. And this gives, not only can my teammates play off this trip here, but it also gives info if they're pushing up mid. If no one breaks this trip, then we literally know they're not going to be mid at all, So not only trips Like, not only can you play off trips and get kills off them, but they also can give really good information. Just make sure you're using the right setup and you know why you're using this setup. Like, are you just putting this cage here because you've seen someone do it, or do you know that like, you can play in it or play around it? You can get into a better location with it. Like, you just got to kind of think about why you're using Util and is it effective. I also think people like FNS are really, really, really good to watch, considering the guy is a literal IGL, a master winning in-game leader. And he streams now, he's not on a pro team right now, and he's streaming his ranked games as well as analysing pro games, which gives you a super good perspective about what's good and what's bad. It lets you understand why something isn't good instead of just being told it isn't. Also, when watching people like FNS who review the games, it makes it easier for you to learn, as you don't have to try watch someone else's VODs or your own VODs and struggle to pick out what is wrong with them or what like mistakes you're making. Another thing which I just mentioned is VOD reviewing your own games, just recording them and watching them back to see what you did wrong and what you did right. How did you react to certain plays? Did you give good comms? Was you using Util in a way to maximize its value? And were you taking fights you were in favor of winning? If you don't want to watch back your own VODs, then a good thing you could do is every time you die, you can think of what you did wrong and how you could prevent it next time. Try to focus on your own mistakes instead of your teammates' mistakes too. Something myself I have a bad habit of, as it takes away from my own progression. Doing these things isn't going to make you an insane IGL or top caller overnight, though it's going to help you prevent deaths, learn about key things like rotations, good comms, strats, and even small things like pathing or how to lurk. Or if you already understand fundamentals like this, then you can evolve these things like small strats into big ones, or even help you just take space with a certain amount of Util, whether that's to take space or fake it. You can combo Util, you can give good comms, and like, I'm gonna say this now, like, even if you call a really bad strat in ranked, as long as like your teammates are all, like all 5 of you are on the same page or all doing the same thing, it's like your chances of winning from everyone doing something solo to now doing something all together has went up from like 0% to 100%. Like, even if it's a bad call, like, don't be afraid to give a bad call, because at the end of the day, you're gonna learn if it's a good or a bad call. You're gonna learn from it, from trial and error, and you're also gonna be doing something with your team. So like, even if it's a bad call, as long as you're doing something with your team, you're able to trade each other, play off each other, like give each other good util to play off. Like, I'm sure even if it's a bad strat, it's gonna work somehow, you know? Like, a strat doesn't always have to like be a set strat. It can always evolve into mid-round, and you can always change up a strat mid-round, you know? But as long as you're all on the same page on what you're gonna do and how you wanna do something, I guarantee you it's gonna be a lot better than everyone just doing whatever, not being on the same page. And I get some people in ranked like don't listen, or they don't talk, and that can be really frustrating. But I'm gonna be honest, even in my Immortal lobbies, my Immortal 3 lobbies, that happens way too much. And it's just something you're just gonna have to get by. Whether that's by duo queuing, trio queuing, 5 stacking with friends, you know, which will make the game a lot more fun to grind as well. But yeah, you will get teammates who don't want to listen, will like just go on mute, they'll throw sometimes, but teammates like that, it's unlucky. Like, just mute them, don't focus on them, focus on your own gameplay, focus on how you can improve, how you're gonna win the game, and just try go off that. If no one's talking, then it's unlucky. You get games like that, and you always will. But it's about how you can improve off it at that point and what you're learning from that game. Just to kind of wrap up with the Gamesense topic, I'm gonna give you a quick example on a good reaction or like pre-round call I called based on what the enemy was doing 2 rounds straight. So a bit of backstory to this like call, I guess you could say, is they were taking a heavy buff control on bind, and their Sky was always dogging, their Jet would dash off it, and their flash as well, their Brim would stim. And to counter this, I said to my friend who was playing Raze, like, if you just like play around buff and use your nade to maybe pressure them off, I'm gonna TP when the Sky's dogging, just call when, I'm gonna kill the Sky and dog, and then we can just fight buff together. Just nade him because what he'll do, he'll dog, then he'll flash you.
Okay.
Then Jet will try and dash at you. And Brim stims him as well. But I'll literally insta-TP if they do it. Just scream at me if they do. I'll fucking TP, call him.
I'm gonna instant nade though if they try and do it then.
Yeah, that's good, that's good.
Doing it, they're gonna do it.
Alright, probably right now.
Bring them down. Effective.
Kill 2. So hopefully this is a good example and it shows you how I made a call based off what the enemy was doing. And I know it is hard to make calls mid-round off like shit like this, but you know, you'll get used to it over time, trial and error like I said, and you know, just keep practicing calling. You know, don't feel demotivated not to give comms in game, because it's the only way you're gonna learn. Like, and make sure you're listening to other people who are trying to give comms, because even, like I said, even if you don't think it's the best comm or you think it's stupid comm, then at least you're all doing something together. Or if you think you have a better comm, then maybe suggest it as well. But as long as all 5 of you, your whole team's doing something together, then that's good. And also, like, taking risks. Like, then, that was like a huge risk to take. What if I TP'd and died? But, you know, sometimes when you have a read, or like, if you're down numbers, perchance, then it's always good to take a risk in game, because, you know, sometimes you can't just always be playing it by the book. You can't always be playing safe. Sometimes a risk is needed to win a round if you're down numbers, or like, if you need to, like, do something on an eco. Like, then I had a bulldog, I didn't have the best buy, but, you know, like, we made a trap play off it and it worked. So it was really, really good. Going into aim, it's important to have a warm-up routine, whether that's aim labs, shooting bots in the range, a deathmatch or a TDM, or even just a mix of all of them, or just a few. Practice makes perfect, as people say, and having an extra 10 minutes or even an extra 30 minutes is going to massively impact how you play in them games. And over time, you're going to see a massive improvement in your aim. I also do a long warm-up, which not everyone likes to do, but I think after a while you just get a bit committed to it, and it really, really, really does help. My aim felt so crispy, I felt really, really good going into games, and I felt really, like, a lot more confident when I played as well, which is really important to have. I'd also like to say, don't solely focus on aiming. Movement is a part of aiming too. You don't want to just stand still constantly like a potato or crouch spam at long range, but you also don't want to overmove and just like jiggle around so much, only just tap one bullets. I think it's good to move to reset spray and have a good burst a lot of the time. There's situations where you'd prefer to one tap and aim down sights, or even spray at close range, but try not to get into the habit of doing it for everything. There's a lot of warm-up routines online you can look at from your favourite pro players, such as Demon 1 or 10s. Me personally, I like to go in the range, shoot some bots for a while, before going into a deathmatch in TDM, until I feel ready. Sometimes it would just be 2 deathmatches or so, whereas other days it could be a lot more, like upwards of 5. Crosshair placement is another thing. Make sure you're aiming at head height and not body shot level. If someone in your team calls that someone is 1 HP or 1 tap, then sure, aim at their body, but otherwise keep that crosshair head level. Once again, it just comes with practice, so take your time in the range or deathmatch, put your Spotify on and try to shoot some heads. As for sense, you'll have to test around with it until you find that one that suits you well. I will say though, some players and streamers change sense quite often, even during games sometimes, which I myself don't do, as I think it can lead to inconsistency. I recommend trying to find that one perfect sense and try sticking to it. Players like 10s have thousands of hours, not only in VALORANT but CSGO too, hence how they're able to do this. VALORANT is a 5-player game, and though you may have games where you significantly frag more than your other teammates, it doesn't mean to say that you're playing well with a team. Or also, sometimes you might get unlucky and don't have the best teammates, or even have a game where you don't play the best yourself. Generally, what makes a good teammate is someone who talks in comms. Examples of comms being enemies' positions or a strategy you want to use going into the round. Whether that's a mid-round call or a pre-round call, which could be something as simple as executing B or to rotate to a different site, or even more advanced things like playing retake on A because the enemy killjoy has ult and we're expecting them to hit that site with it. Generally, if all 5 players are on board with what's going on into the round and what's happening mid-round, it makes things so much easier. Also, good communications, you can play positions like high-low or doubling up, terms you might have heard of before, and these just generally mean holding an angle with your teammate so you can trade each other if necessary. With good communication, you can also combo Util, or just simply help when entering or retaking a site. Even just baiting for a teammate to take a timing can be round winning. Okay, moving on to Util. Util usage, to begin with, may not seem like a major thing, though having good Util can be the difference between a good player and a great player. For example, if you're playing as an initiator, you want to try help your duelist entry by giving him Util to work with, whether that's a flash or a scan or something of the sort. Even a single bit of Util plays a massive part in the game. We should always make sure we're trying to maximize the amount of value we're getting from our Util, whether that's by getting a kill from it, getting info, or maintaining control of an area, or helping our teammates out. The way to get a lot better at this is just once again by VOD reviewing, or after the round just think back on it and think, was the Util I used really helpful, or did it go to waste? Let's not forget, Util does cost money, and if we're just chucking it around randomly, we're not maximizing the value of it, where it may not have been needed or could have been used in a different scenario, and it could just possibly end up ruining our long-term economy. Also, a major thing I see is people holding onto their ultimates. Don't be afraid to use your ultimate early on in the half, or even if it's just something like a 2v1 or the enemy is on an eco, because trust me, it's better to secure the round than possibly lose it, because it really has happened a lot. It happens a lot of the time in pro play as well. Most of the time you can get at least 2 ultimates out of the half, even 3 if you're working the map and collecting orbs. So make sure we're taking advantage of it. Even if we don't get a kill off an ultimate, we can still take the space and gather info from it. Mental is super important. If you're not feeling it or just tilted, then don't queue, because it's not helpful for yourself or any of your teammates you may have. We all get annoyed about losing RR. The game is competitive and ranked, and we always want to try to be the best we can. The progression comes in waves. Some days will be worse than others, but we should try to take that as a learning experience. Personally, I have tilt queued myself, just like everyone else has, and I've went from mid Immortal 2 to literally 0 RR Immortal 1, which is a massive losing streak. But trust me, any lose streak you have, if you're trying to improve, you'll earn it all back. Which leads me to the next thing. If you're playing to play, that's fine. It's enjoyable to play the game like that. But if you want to improve, you have to play to improve. You should ask yourself if you've been doing that. If we are tilt queuing, we should take breaks, go eat, go outside for a bit, or just play something else in general. Call friends, whether that's for 10 minutes or a full-on day, take your time, there's no need to rush anything. It's your own progress, so don't feel pressured by others like you need to improve insanely fast, because everyone has different rates of progression, so just take your time with it, as hard work does pay off. Another thing I've also had before is a slump. A slump is just when you're being really bad or consistent, it feels like. And honestly, my best advice is to either stop playing for a while or just play through it. You may have to play more death matches and warm up, maybe even take more time to watch a VOD review, whether it's yourself's or someone else's, and just focus on trying to improve as much as you can. A slump can come around in many different things. I think a massive reason being confidence issues. I've talked to a few pro players before, one of which being Com, the VALORANT 2023 world champion, in which he told me nothing comes overnight, things take time, and I shouldn't be so focused on my stats such as kills, and I shouldn't worry about how people may see me as a player. And instead I should focus on my warm-ups and doing my own VOD reviews instead of worrying about my own performance. As you can easily change your mistakes, sometimes you just have to have a mental block on things and try ignore factors such as stats, even if they just aren't the best. Anyways, I hope this video helped you guys out. If you really do have any questions, then please put them down below in the comment section. I'll reply to all of them. Like I said, I hope this video helps you guys out a little bit. Whether you're new to the game, whether you're hard stuck in a rank, or you're just trying to grind towards Immortal or anything, I hope I can help. Also, I'll probably be streaming soon, so if you ever want to come join my stream, watch my gameplay, learn from it, or even just join my chat, say hi, then I'd really appreciate that. Anyways, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next video.